As the Trump administration deals with the coronavirus pandemic, the White House is also stepping up its efforts to remove Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro from office. Just days after the U.S. Justice Department indicted Maduro for alleged narco-terrorism, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced a plan for a transition government in Venezuela.
Broadly speaking, it would put the elected members of the National Assembly representing both sides, would create an acceptable Council of State to serve as the transitional government until presidential and National Assembly elections could be held, we hope within 6 to 12 months.
In exchange, the U.S. would lift harsh economic and diplomatic sanctions, even on the sale of oil, Venezuela's lifeline. The plan calls for both Maduro and the opposition leader Juan Guaido, who is recognized by Washington as the legitimate president, to step aside. Guaido is already on board.
Hoy tenemos el respaldo del mundo, una propuesta que hicimos hace meses.
Today, we have international support for a proposal that we made months ago for an orderly transition of power that gives guarantees and space to all those who stand by our constitution.
Maduro wasted no time responding. In a communique, the government says that, quote, neither extortion nor false accords will distract President Maduro and the armed forces from their mission to protect the Venezuelan people. But Washington is betting that the growing pandemic, on top of plummeting oil prices and U.S. economic sanctions, will make this offer more palatable for those who could force Maduro's hand. Indeed, the initiative sounds remarkably familiar. It's apparently the brainchild of Undersecretary of State for Western Hemispheric Affairs Mike Kozak and Special Representative for Venezuela Elliot Abrams. The same two men who in 1989 presented a very similar exit strategy to former Panamanian strongman General Manuel Antonio Noriega. Noriega refused, and 6 months later he was ousted by a U.S. military invasion.
If
the imperialists and the Colombian oligarchy dare to touch a hair on our heads, prepare for the Bolivarian fury, the fury of a people who will lash out at all of you.
U.S. State Department sources have been quoted as saying that U.S. military intervention is not in the cards, but that a surgical strike could achieve the same goal. The ball is now in Maduro's court to see if he will call Washington's bluff. Lucia, Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.